Utah State opens the season Friday night, 6 p.m. in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The Aggies taking on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons of the ACC. Coach, it's been 7 years since we've had you here, but it feels like you never left. How does it feel for you?
Yeah, it feels like I left, yeah. But I'm happy to be back. How about that?
Well, it's good to have you back. It's exciting. Aggie Nation is excited. And I wanted to ask you now that you've had a few months to get acclimated. And I say that because it doesn't feel like you've left, because we remember the success and it just seems like you've always been here. But now that you've had 6 months, you've had camp, you had spring, how is the feeling now? You've gotten to know this group a lot better.
No doubt. It's a great time to be able to know the kids. And I had one of my own children on the team every year except for one, basically, that we were gone. So that was awesome. You know, it was like I always was close, and Stacy was always close to the team and able to come back and see some games. But to get back and see this new group of kids, and wherever you go in those situations, we always talk about trust. It takes time to build that. You just don't do it overnight. You talk about relationships. You just don't have and gain a relationship with a young man overnight. So it's fun to get those 6 months in the rearview mirror and have kids in a position to be able to understand who we are, we know who they are, and we can continue to grow and develop.
You're opening up with a Power 5 opponent on the road. Tell us a little bit about this matchup with Wake Forest. Obviously, we don't watch Wake Forest a lot, but I'm sure you've done a lot of film study. What are you going to be facing on Friday night?
Offensively, Wake Forest, much like us, they want to run the ball, they want to throw the ball. They're a fast-paced offense. They're a very good offense. I think they averaged 34 points a game last year, and in the ACC, in a tough conference. And you know, they're very sound. You can tell they are well coached. They're gap sound. They run to the football and they play extremely hard. So it's a tough place to play. You're flying across the country, and so you don't sit there and say, hey, we're excited to fly across the country 5 times in a year. We don't have to do it, but we do it twice, and this is one of them.
Well, it's a great opportunity for you guys to play and win against a Power 5 opponent. We saw last night Hawaii getting an exciting win over a Power 5 opponent. The fact that Hawaii did what they did last night tells me the Mountain West is going to be a battle again this year. What's your outlook on the Mountain West as you look at this conference as a whole, and how this race is going to shape out?
Well, right now Fresno's the champion, and somebody's got to find a way to knock them off, or they'll be champions again right now. But it's going to be a very competitive league. We did switch up. We gained some teams this year that we haven't played for the last couple of years, and it just happens to be San Diego State, who we know they're tough every year. Flip over and go play Fresno. Both of those teams are on the road, so those will be obviously very difficult teams to play, and are good football teams. But we like that. We want to be in a competitive spot. You want to play the best of the best, and Boise comes to us late in the year, and you got all the other teams in between. Air Force is going to be very, very good. I know Coach Calhoun thinks his team is very good this year, so it's a competitive league. It's awesome when we can get out and play nationally. It's just like any league. When you get out of your league and you play other teams, you want to win, and you want to show people how you can play. This is a chance for us to go back east, play at 8 o'clock their time, but people will watch it, right? It's on the ACC network, and, a young man like Jordan Love and Tipa, who are those kids who are highlighted players, it gives them a chance to get on the national stage in another time zone, which is great for them.
Well, Jordan Love is getting a lot of attention, and for good reason. Great year last year, Heisman candidate, considered the best quarterback in college in the state, a lot of accolades, and you've watched him here in camp. How has he gotten better this year as he enters this season?
I love him. How about that?
It's nice to have a quarterback this good.
He's a special player, and special leader. Just a young man that's quality, and he wants to get better. He's with Coach Sanford all the time, consistently working to, fine-tune his game. And he doesn't, by any stretch of the imagination, think he's arrived. He continues to grind and work, and just, takes the young kids. We have 50 new kids on our team this year. It's almost half the team. Wow. And Jordan is a huge mentor to every one of those kids that he can possibly touch, and he goes out of his way to make sure that he does touch them in a positive way.
You have the quarterback, but he needs playmakers. Do you have the receivers and running backs it's going to take advantage of such a talented quarterback?
Well, the first thing is going to be is the offensive line. Four new starters. Big Al anchors our left tackle spot, and he anchors the offensive line from a standpoint of maturity and carries himself with toughness and makes sure that those kids are continually growing. Playmakers on the outside, I believe we have. I believe we have a stable of wide receivers and tight ends and running backs that can be very, very good football players. We as coaches need to make sure we do everything we can to get the ball in the hands of the playmakers consistently. And in a spread offense, the ball does get dispersed and spread around to a lot of different people, but you hope you get the guys that are the most explosive and earn the reps to get the ball in their hand, that we get it in their hand for them so we can make big plays for Jordan. And when you have Jordan Love, you want to do what you can to really help him continue to grow and develop and be the great player that he can be. So in January, he has a very difficult decision to make.
Want to keep him and Logan one more year.
Yes.
You hear that, Jordan? One more year. Defensively, though, you've got some leaders back there. You've got an All-American at linebacker, David Woodward. Keeping Nolly as a proven pass rusher. So you've got guys on the defensive side of the ball where you do have some experience that you can lean on.
Yes, we absolutely do. And those two young men are the leaders of our defense, no doubt. And we have some very powerful, strong leaders that have played a lot on the defensive front. Our defensive front should be a very solid group. We'll have 8+ kids who we think that can play. Tipa is obviously the highlighted kid as far as the stats and the accolades that he's received. David is the same way at the linebacker position. I feel good about them. We'll see how when they match up against other people. There's so many unknowns when you haven't played a game to see how you're going to match up with somebody else, but I like where they are also.
Well, it starts 6 p.m. Friday night at Wake Forest. Can't wait to find out what kind of team you have. Looking forward to it. Gary, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Go Aggies.
You got it.